everyone. In this session, you are going to have a talk from Dr. Rakesh Kumar. He is working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of this institute. He has got a rich experience of 12 years of teaching, and his area of specialization is ad hoc networks. He has done his PhD from NIT Kurukshetra, and he has over 40 papers which have been published and presented across various international journals and international and national conferences. He is also a reviewer of journals of repute like Springer and IEEE. So I know that yesterday also some of the participants were asking, "Wo computer science wala session has been changed." So I told there was some change of this thing because of the contingency. So some of you, I know that you are keenly waiting to listen to him regarding the emerging areas of research in computer science. So I'll request him to kindly engage the session on this topic.
Thank you, ma'am. How many centers are there? 9 centers. Do we have a list? So thank you, ma'am. So I welcome you, various participants sitting at the remote center. I think this is the last day of this STC on thrust areas of research in engineering and science. So today we will be discussing the various research areas that are possible in the field of computer science and engineering. So before that, I would like to have some light on the what is research and how we can proceed towards the research. I know that you have already covered some of the basic fundamentals regarding this, but I would like to just quick review of this. So with the start of this, I would like to know what basically is research. I hope you have already learned this during the previous 4 days. But this word research has come from basically the two words that signifies re and search. And we all know what is the meaning of search. इसको हम बोलते हैं to find something. And research is doing the same thing again. So this word basically research means doing the same thing again or finding the same thing again, because search, or you can say some existing work is already there, and that has been proposed by various researchers and scientists all over the world. We are just going to do the same thing in a different way that will be better, or we are going to propose a new technique for doing a same task that has already been done but with new different technology, or we may propose some improvement that has already been existing. So these are some of the definition that is given on this slide. Like this research, it should be about some problem that encourages enthusiasm and interest for others. Then and only then interest will be this. Then and only then this research will be possible. If we have enthusiasm for me, if I am going to do the research, and that will create interest for the others when the research will be complete. Let's take an example of, suppose, pen, how the pen has been evolved in the past. Earlier we used to have the pencil, but the drawback of pencil is that the thing that has been written with the help of pencil can be easily erased. So to avoid this, we have the interest key how we can make a certain thing that with that we can write and will not create problem. Then the technology of pen has come. After that, we used to write with the help of ink pens. The problem with that, we used to refill the ink again and again, and sometimes there is a leakage also in the pocket, and sometimes our clothes get dirty, and other problems are also with there. After that, we come across this ballpoint pen. So this is very, very popular even nowadays also. But there is a problem with ballpoint pen also. Ki with the passage of time, if you do not use it, the ink will be jammed in this. So generally this problem encounters in the winters only. So in the southern part of our country, there is no winter, and generally the seasons remain same throughout the year. Then there this pen is fine. But in some places where the temperature is very, very high, there is a leakage of problem in this ink, the ballpoint pen also. So then the scientists again researched it, and they have come across this gel pens, where this problem has been solved. Likewise, the newer again and again researching is going on. New technologies is proposed. Like if we go to the space, there we want to write, this pen will not work. So for that we have different kinds of pen. So likewise, the research will proceed with the passage of time throughout the years, and scientists propose their new technology, what they do. So research is often generated from the thought what we have got now from the past. It's not quite right or good enough, but we can do better. This is what I have told you with the help of an example of pen. So we can always do better. That has already been existing in the past, that is proposed by some of the researchers like us only. So it consists of work that leads to a meaningful contribution. It generates in some way with a better solution to the problem. If we do a research that is not useful for the others, then the research has no meaningful for the society. So generally research is only then it is valid, or you can say useful, when it is meaningful to the others, so that the others are having the interest in your research. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the definition of research is it is a careful or diligent search. It is a studious inquiry or examination, especially investigation or experimentation aimed at the discovery and interpretation of facts, revision of accepted theories or laws in the light of new facts, or practical application of such new or revised theories or law. This is the definition according to the Merriam-Webster definition. This is also same that we have already discussed. The collecting information about a particular subject. The combination of these three basically forms the research. There are other definitions also, other proposed by different researchers, like a combination of investigation of past work and effort in the present that will help others in the future. This is also one of the very popular definition. What has already been done in the past, that we will go through, we will try to add on our work that will be helpful for the others in the future. And there are some opposite definition also of research, like generally PhD scholars, those who are working in the various institute, they generally say some of the opposites, like funny definitions, like it is a fun and frustration. Some says it is just a wasting of holidays. If you want to waste your holidays, just take admission in PhD, and then your whole holidays will become uh, totally a hell for you. Like a small steps and large insight. Because when we take admission in this PhD, generally in India only we say like this. When you take admission in PhD, 30% of the task is to take admission, and after 30% of the task is to identify the problem, because identifying a problem is a very big challenge in our country. And if you have come across these two phases, then only I think 30-40% task is left. If you've identified the problem and if you have taken the admission at a suitable place, then only 40% task is left. You can do that in a better way. So building on others' work and contributing your own work, these are all the opposites of research. And finding or developing something new that changes the world, this is also a correct definition of the research. Now, there are two types of research, that is quantitative and qualitative research. Now we have understood the definition of research. We can do the research in two aspects, whether it is quantitative or qualitative. So in case of quantitative, we use statistical, formulaic or numerical analysis to generate the results. Generally we go just like with the help of inductions or other mathematical theories, we use and analyze what has been done, and we analyze in terms of mathematical figures, like the proposed solution has this much percentage better results with respect to the previous one. This is basically the quantitative. In terms of quantity, I am going to justify my research that my solution is this much percent better as compared to the previous one. This quantitative research may be done with the help of some numerical or formulaic, or maybe with the help of some simulations through which you have taken some formulas, and from there you have measured the performance of your approach with these some of the latest existing approach, and you have proposed the better solution with respect to that. The other way is the qualitative approach, in which you are not going to just add on with the previous one. Rather, you will going to propose a new way of solving the existing problem, that is a totally different one with respect to the previous one. So in this we go with the help of discovery, illumination, understanding, extrapolation to the similar circumstances, but the way of solving the problem will be totally different. So rather in this case we are going for the qualitative with respect to the quantitative. When the way of solving the problem is totally different, then we cannot do things in terms of formula. That is why it is not quantitative. Now the scope of research varies by the level of work, in which level you are going to research. Although there is no age limit for the research, but we can categorize the level of our research with respect to the various students, whether it is a PhD level work, or it is master's level research, or it is the bachelor's level research, or a person, someone who is just having the interest in research, he is doing. So when it comes for the PhD students, expect the research should be at the world level. We want our work to be compared all over the globe, not just limited to one particular region or one particular university or a particular country. So our work should be compared to all over the world, how our work can be beneficial for the researchers. So it is contributed and expected at the world level. So background investigation on all past work is necessary in this case, and it makes meaningful addition to the world knowledge. Generally, the PhD students, because the expectation of work is very high, so it takes generally long time. It may varies from 2 to 3 years or 3 to 4 years. 2 to 4 years, you can say. In case of undergraduate students, contribution can be at a local to the national level. It may go up to the world level also, but generally in our country it is limited to the national level. So background investigation at university up to the world level make meaningful addition to university up to the world level of knowledge. So generally, if a suppose undergraduate student has done the research that is limited to the university, or it makes the meaningful contribution up to the university level, then also it is sufficient if we say it is undergraduate research. Now, what is not research? Sometimes students do something and say, sir, this is my research work. So whether this will be a valid research work or not. Playing with technology is not a research. Playing with technology का मतलब क्या होता है? If we say कि playing with technology, so suppose a new technology has been evolved, and I am not going to use that technology. Someone else has proposed technology. I have just learned how to use this technology and I have implemented it at my place. So then this is not a kind of research. Like suppose just a few days back, I have come across the feature that is available in my mobile phone, that is cloud printing. I hope you have also seen this feature, cloud printing. So I am not able to use this technology. So I have discussed it, or I have gone through the Google various searches I have made. Then after that, I have implemented it and I have executed it with the help of my mobile phone. I am going to take the code from my printer. But this is just the existing technology. I am just going to use it. That is why it is not a new research. So some of the students comes, sir, this is the one we have implemented it. So implementing a certain existing thing is not the research. If you write a book report, this is also not the research. Unless and until you propose something new that is not already existing in the literature, and it is better, that will be used by the others in the future, then only then it will become the part of your research. Writing just simple report is not the research. Although writing a report is just a part of the research, because after completion of the research, generally we write a report to formulate all the things that we have done. Likewise, programming project, because computer science students generally do the programming, they know what is programming, and if we write some program or just automate the existing system, then also it will not become the research. Suppose there is an existing system of examination at our institute and your institute also. There are existing system of examination in the form of suppose registers, and manually it is doing. So if we automate the system with the help of suppose programming, suppose my students have suppose made one program with the help of suppose Java and other platform that they may use, and they have automated the whole system. Now for examination, all the examination can be conducted online, whether it is subjective or objective. We have given the facilities. Results will be also discovered online. Students have their login, they can check it, but this will not become the research, because it's, all the technologies like Java platform or other platform like VB, these are all existing. We have just utilized these technologies for the betterment of our society. This is not research. Likewise, doing what others have already done, as I have said earlier, this is also not research. For research, you have to propose something new idea that may be either quantitative or qualitative, that will be compared with the existing one. Then and only then it will become the part of your research. So as I have said earlier to you, who basically does this research? Research can be done by many people, like graduate students, postgraduate students, PhD students, researchers at various universities, researchers in industry. In case of graduate students, we have ME degree students, those who are doing their research as part of their ME or MTech curriculum. Generally, in this case, as I have said earlier, the standard of research is slightly lower because the time period allocated to them is very, very short. That is why the standard is low. It is not like that their maturity level is low or they have very less experience. That is why the level of research is low. No, because they are generally given a time period of just 6 months to 1 year. That is a very short duration for doing a good research. In case of PhD, as I have said earlier to you, the time period is very large. It varies from 2 to 4 years, or up to it goes to 7 years maximum in some universities. So we have enough time for going into the literature, after that finding the problems, what is actually required by the society. Then in case of publication and with the help of patents, so then only we have come across whether the research is whether meaningful or not. So the quality of work in case of PhD scholars is comparatively better, or you can say higher, with respect to the ME or bachelor level students. Likewise, researchers at the universities are also doing the research, like postdoctoral fellows. They are also doing research. Like suppose there is one project on which some postdoctoral students are working, they are also doing a very, very good kind of research. Faculty members at various institutes are also doing the research apart from their teaching assignments. Researchers in industry are also doing research. Basically, these are the fellows, those who are actually providing something technical in terms of technology or in terms of tools to us, or you can say the society. Because in our country, basically, the students or the researchers at universities, some outcome delivered output product is not provided to the society. The most of the kind of research are in the form of just only the publication, or you can say just in terms of the technology, but that has not been adopted by the industry. So research scientists that are working with the industries, they are basically providing the research. They are basically doing the research and providing technology transformation to the society. Like most of the researches being done at the industry level, like in the case of mobile phones, like we can see earlier we used to have different kinds of mobile phones. Simple mobile phone having the calling facility. Now Android phones have came daily, and daily we are seeing new features are being added by these fellows industry researchers to us for the easy working of our task or for the betterment of the society. So many of these other technical workers are also supporting the researchers in the industry. And in industry also there is no requirement of certain kind of qualification for these researchers. Undergraduate students like can also do the research, but they also have very, very less time and less exposure. That is why the level of work is comparatively lower as compared to the others. Now moving to the other side, who does the research? Individuals as well as team both can do the research. Generally, in our countries, the research is generally limited to the individual people. We don't have the group of people working on the joint project, and we are providing the solution. That is why the level of research comparatively is slightly lower with respect to the other parts of the world. In other parts, we have the research group. They are working jointly, because in an individual case, what happens when I'm doing, suppose I'm going to solve certain problem, what happens, certainly suppose at one moment of time I struck, then the future problem, to find out the future solution, it is very difficult for an individual person. But whenever there is a group of people, they definitely solve the problem in a better and an effective way. And we all say in India कि एक और एक 11 होते हैं. That is why teamwork is always better. So team almost always make the process easier. Division of labor, it is possible with teams. Feedback from team members is also very, very beneficial. Suppose I have proposed one solution and I am working as an individual. So because I have given the solution, so I will always feel this is the right solution. But in future, when I am going to implement it, I may encounter a lot of problems, and the solution may be even not appropriate for this problem. So whenever we are working in a team, the quick feedback is available, and because we are a team member, then always the feedback will be the correct. because when we are competitors, then it may be possible that we have been given the wrong feedback, but in case of teamwork, we always get the correct feedback. So each member can work to its own strength. In team also it is possible, suppose I am good in programming, some other person is good in suppose writing, some other person is good in suppose going to the literature and finding out the problems and analyzing the problems, how it can be in a better way it can be solved. So whenever we are working in a team, the problem can be effectively solved and the solution proposed will be definitely better with respect to the individual. But unfortunately in our country, the research is limited to the individual people only. Most of the universities happen like this because we have not hearing this word research group in our country. This research group is popular in other parts of the world. Now going to the research process, how it basically evolves. So whenever we are going to do the research, we should know what is the application of my research. Suppose I am going to do something new, but who are going to use this and what will be the application of this. अगर हमें किसी चीज की application मालूम है, if we know the application of certain thing, then and only then it is advisable to us to go into that area. If there is no application of this particular task, then there is no meaning of doing the research in this application. Suppose taking an example of this laptop I am using here. If laptop is not going to be used by the people in the coming few years, then if I am going to research on laptop, then it is not advisable. After that, the motivation, why we have going to do the research in this particular area. This motivation is also a key factor in identifying your problem. So why you are motivated to do the research in this case. Motivation basically comes from the, if you go to the uh, existing work, you know what has already been done, you are using the technology, you encounter some problem, then you will feel this is the motivation. As I have given you the examples of pen, how technology been evolved like this. Then the initial idea, then you do the thorough background investigation because you are already using the technology. Then you go into the deep what has been proposed by the researchers or scientists or various academicians in the past, from where the technology has actually been evolved. After that, what are the refinements or advancement being proposed by the scientist, and this will be studied and it will be done. Then with the passage of this application, motivation, initial idea, background investigation, refinement of idea, then we will go into the core work, what we are going to do, investigation, and what we are going to develop and how the society will be using it. When you have implemented your research, or you can say you proposed your research, then comes the documentation part. You will write the appropriate report, or you can say you write the research paper, you will send it to various journals for publication, or you can say you write your patent and file it in the patent office, or you can also uh, generate the prototype if it is appropriate. Like in case of mechanical engineering or in case of civil engineering, we generally propose a new prototype, or suppose an aeroplane has been proposed that will, if we propose a prototype this that will can move at a speed of suppose 4,000 kilometers per hour, then this will we can create a prototype also if it is possible or if it is feasible. Then comes the evaluation, then results, and then finally the identification of the future work. This is basically the complete research process. We start from the application, कौन कौन सी application है हमारे research की, क्यों हम करना चाहते हैं इस area में काम, क्या motivation है, how we have come across this, initial idea कहाँ से आया, core work, refinement of the background work, and so on, and finally the future work. Now, when we have completed our research, we have done our research, the next part is the publications. Why publication is required? Why publication is required? We can also avoid the publication, but we can see in all the universities or in all the part of our in all part of our country, just publication is generally required or mandatory. Publication is required basically to evaluate the level of our research, whether it is really meaningful for others or not. Because generally what happens, because we have done some research, we cannot say this is good research or it is meaningful for the society unless and until it is reviewed or accepted by the whole world. For that, publication is required. For publication, we can publish our research work in two types of uh, journals, or you can say conferences. Generally, basically with respect to the journals, basically happens open access or paid journal. Generally, open access journals are those journals, those are free for the viewers and paid for the authors. In open access journals, suppose I am writing one paper, I have sent it to the journal, now the paper has been accepted, then I need to pay the amount to the journal, and only then it will be published. When the paper is published, it is freely available to all the viewers like us. सबके लिए freely available है वो internet के ऊपर, कोई भी देख सकता है उसको. The other one is the paid category, that is free for authors. Authors need not to pay any amount for publication, and but if you want to see the papers that have already been published by other researchers, then we need to pay, or we need to have the access for these publications. Generally, the second category, paid, which is free for the authors and paid for the viewers, are generally the categories which is good, which is considered as good, because the level of work that has been proposed by various authors in this journal, in these journals, is comparatively good. Moreover, the technology that has been proposed by these authors or these scientists, this is also better as compared to the open access journals. And but the problem with these types of journal is generally they take long time for publication as compared to the open access. Why? Because these are free for the authors, so they don't have much funds for this work, and they want to maintain the quality. In these types of journals, which those are free for authors, there are even multiple rounds of review. Suppose I submit one paper to these types of journals, they may take suppose 4 or 5 months. After that, they will send suppose some revisions to me. These are the changes, those are required. Then I will do the changes. I will again submit it after 1 month. Then they will again review the paper whether it is up to the standards of the journals or not. Then again the revision is done. They will again send back the paper to the authors, and this process will go on until the paper reaches to the quality of the standards of the journal, and only then it will be published. So I suggest, if you people are doing your research and going to publish your papers in near future, so always go for these types of journals. But the problem with this is they take long time. Generally, the publication times in these types of journals varies from 8 to 1 year, 8 months to 1 year. Sorry, 8 months to 1 year. So this is a big challenge with these types of journals. Likewise, you can publish your papers in either journal or conferences. Although both are good, as I said, but there are some differences between these. Like journals generally take multiple round of review. In case of conferences, generally it is single round of review, because the date of conferences are generally fixed, so they don't have much time left for the multiple round of review. So generally, if you are in hurry for publication, it is advisable to go for conference, submit the paper, they will quickly review it, and this is a date bound activity, and they will give you the quick feedback to you. Generally, in case of journals, the length of paper is comparatively long. Paper varies. Paper is generally more than 10 pages. Generally, it happens like this. In case of conferences, because they are charging money and they are going to publish it in the form of book, generally the size of paper is limited to the up to 6 pages. Generally, so this is a one drawback of conferences, because you have limited the author up to 6 pages, so he or she cannot write his complete idea in just 6 pages. So if you are going to do a research, if you are going to a background research, it's advisable to read the journal papers. Through that, you can have better idea about the existing work. Likewise, as I said to you, generally journals don't have any deadlines unless and until it is a special issue. In special issues, we have some deadlines. You will submit the paper by this date. They will review it and send the feedback. Likewise, impact factors. What is the impact factor? In conference, we don't have any kind of impact factor. Journal, I said to you, journals are maybe free and paid with respect for the authors and viewers. But in case of conferences, they are definitely paid. And in case of journals, presentation is not required. But on the other hand, conferences presentation is nowadays mandatory. whether it may be done with the help of video conferencing or you have to presence in physically. So because presentation is necessary and we can ask the questions from the various presenter, so this is a one big advantage of conference. Suppose I am going to present my paper at suppose one place in the conference, I am going to listen from the other scientists or others persons, those who have going to present their research over there. So this is a big advantage of conference, if you are going to attend the conference there and listening to others. And this is a also a major drawback of journals, because we cannot get the feedback from the the author who has written this paper. We cannot ask the questions. So these are some of the reputed publishers. Those are known. First one is the IEEE publisher. Springer is also another publisher. Elsevier, IndusScience, Wiley, IGI Global, Taylor and Francis. These are some of the reputed publishers. I'm saying these are publishers, not the journals. These publishers publishes many journals, and journals published by these journals are of good quality. If you go to the IEEE websites, lots of publications are there. I will show you quick. Suppose if you want to go to the IEEE website, just type IEEE.org. Like we have come across this website. So if you want to access, because this is a good publisher, as I said to you, this is a paid one. This is not the open. In some of the journals published by IEEE are also open access. Only those journals, those are open access, can be accessed by anyone. Others, for that you either need to have the access of this website or you need to have the login. For login you have to pay the payment. If you want to suppose search any article in this, you can just type at the search item. Suppose I want to do my research, suppose in the area of artificial intelligence. So I type here artificial intelligence. And I will write artificial intelligence. I will click search. This I am telling you the short way how you can proceed towards it. You can also go a longer way by following the whether journal or whether conference, which journal, which conference. But that is possible when you have the good idea about this website and you have very good idea about various journals published by this website. But if you don't have this, you just have the idea in which area you want to proceed, go through, just type the area in which you want to proceed and click search. Now these are the various publications, so those are available on this area. Now because in India we want to proceed faster, so I am telling you a shortcut to this. After that you just restrict your research to a limited years, because it is showing the papers from 1910 to 2016. So because there are so many papers, if I search like this only, you can see here there are this 1,14,613 articles on artificial intelligence. So it is not possible for me to go these many numbers of articles. So I will restrict my search either limited to the conferences. As you can see here, if I want to see only the conference publications, if I want to see the journal publication, I will click here. If I want to have books, see the books, I will click here. But for before that, I would like to restrict my research for the last suppose 5 years. So I'm going to see the paper for suppose last 6 years, and now I will click here, apply refinements. Now you can see here, now we have only 52,241 articles, but still it is a very large figure. So now I will again restrict my search. Now I have restricted it only to the journal articles. Why? Because I have already told to you, because the journal articles are lengthy and they provide the complete information about the technology. So when I am a suppose reader, so it will give a good knowledge about the topic. Conference publications are also good, but those are beneficial when I am going to attend the conference and I am going listening over there, because I can ask the questions from the presenter from there. Now I have clicked the apply refinements. Now we are left with only 5,981 articles. Now I can further restrict my search to the which particular area of artificial intelligence I want to target, because artificial intelligence itself is a very big field. Suppose now I have restricted it to the, suppose, machine learning. In this way you can proceed your search and you can identify the various areas in which you can work. So now we are left with, so likewise you can search the other areas, like you can go to the cluster computing and search cluster computing. This is one publisher, IEEE, on which you can explore. Likewise other publications are Elsevier, that is available on sciencedirect.com, likewise fingerlink.com. Here you can type your keyword. Suppose I have typed here Vanet. Vanet is one of the latest hot topic in the past few years, and I have clicked here. Likewise Springer also, you can search something. Suppose here I have searched WSN. 975 articles are available here. You can restrict. Okay, you can restrict our search for the various years, and we can get the results accordingly. Okay. Moving back to the slides. So these are some of the emerging areas in the fields of computer science. You can work on any of these areas. Likewise, ad hoc networks, you can work in this area. You can work in the field of wireless sensor networks. You can work in the fields of ubiquitous computing, artificial intelligence, big data, image processing, computer vision, human-computer interaction, natural language processing, software testing, robotics, security and privacy systems, and networking. Before that, I would like to also add one thing. Whenever you are going to publish your articles in these journals, you can also check your paper for plagiarism, because plagiarism is nowadays very big challenge that we want to restrict it. So we have certain tools. Those are, some are free and some are paid, because some tools the publishers are using, they are using the Authenticate tool for plagiarism checking. So, but Authenticate is very costly, we cannot use. So if your institute is having the Turnitin, you can check your research articles using the Turnitin. Check your articles with the help of Turnitin, whether how much plagiarism is there and from where you have taken some of the matter. If you have taken some matter from some of the places, you can shown it with the help of references. And there are some free tools also, like Viber. You can install the software of Viber, freely available on the internet, and the results of Viber are also up to the mark with respect to the Turnitin also. Some other tools are also there for anti-plagiarism, but in those tools we cannot provide the whole article at once. In that we need to add paragraph by paragraph. So I advise you, if you want to check your paper before submission to these articles, you can either go ahead with the help of Turnitin or the Viber, VIBER. You can check it. So moving again to the various emerging areas in the computer science, we will move one by one to the various areas. Like in case of ad hoc networks, there are many challenges. First, we want to know the ad hoc networks. I know many of you know what is this technology. Like a combination of hosts, or you can say nodes, that changes their topology on the fly, and they are having a wireless physical networks, and no fixed infrastructure is there. So in this we have multiple challenges with us. Like routing is one of the big issue in case of ad hoc networks. How the packets are transmitted from one node to another node, and which uh, the algorithm we are going to use, because as I said to you, because these nodes are mobile and no active supply is provided to them. So we want our packets to follow the shortest route, so that the packet will reach the destination at the quick, and the resource consumption, likewise the battery and other resources, be consumed as low as possible. Likewise channel contention and MAC scheduling in case of ad hoc networks. Multiple nodes are contending the same wireless channel for transmitting the information. So suppose few people are sitting in a room, they all want to send their information. So if they all start sending the information at once, it will result in the loss, and no information will be received by the receiver. So we can work upon this area also in case of a dock network. Likewise, clustering is another area in which, in case of ad hoc networks, we can work upon. Like suppose some of the nodes want to work in a collaboration, they want to solve a big problem by forming a cluster. So cluster, in case of cluster, how the cluster head is selection. Cluster head selection is also a big challenge, because if one node becomes the cluster head, the battery will be consumed too much of that particular node, because all the traffic will be going through the cluster head. So cluster head rotation, and the algorithm to propose a new algorithm in case of cluster head, that is also a big challenge. Energy efficiency, as I said, no active supply is provided to the nodes. So how we can save our energy, this is also a big challenge. Quality of service, we can improve the quality of service. Basically, quality of service represents the quantitative and qualitative users requirements with respect to the network providers कि क्या क्या provide करता है वो. Likewise, in case of suppose we have delay, suppose one packet is transmitted from source to destination, which is suppose taking 10 millisecond. So you can reduce the 10 millisecond to 5 millisecond, then the quality of your service will be improved. Likewise, the delay variance you can reduce. Suppose one time I am sending the information, it is taking suppose 5 millisecond. Next time suppose it is taking 10 millisecond. So we generally don't want such type of network in which there is a high delay variance. This delay variance is basically sometimes also known as jitter. So you can work upon these areas in the case of ad hoc networks. Likewise, you can propose a new mobility models, because the existing mobility models in the case of ad hoc networks do not represent the actual real environment. So we can propose a new mobility models also. Congestion is also a big challenge in case of wireless networks, because if there is a too much traffic in the network, it may result in the congestion. Security is also a big challenge. Whenever there is a wireless network, security is always a big challenge, because the information that is being transmitted in the air can be stolen by any person if you are not using the appropriate security algorithm. So for simulation, because these ad hoc networks, if you one way of implementing, or you can say doing your research, is with the help of, you can do this with the help of either real environment, but in case of real environment, the cost test bed is very costly. So you can do it with the help of simulators also, that provide a similar kind of results. Although the results are not exactly same when we do the same thing in the real environment, but they can also be helpful in your research. NS2, this is a free simulator that is available, and nowadays we are also having the NS3. Qualnet is also this is also a well-known simulator used for the simulation of ad hoc networks, but this is a paid one and you need to pay for it. Glomasim is also proposed by the same company that is manufacturing the Qualnet. This is a free version. We are having NetSim also. This is also paid. Other software tools are also available like OpNet, OpNet++, Omnet, but these are some of the well-known simulations used for ad hoc networks. Similar to the ad hoc networks, we are having the wireless sensor networks, and this also a lot of research has already been done in current time. Also, the research is being done in this wireless sensor networks. How we can deploy the nodes so that the network that will be formed will be very effective. Basically, wireless sensor networks are used where suppose in jungle we want to study where the temperatures are very harsh, we cannot go physically, so we deploy the sensor using the aeroplane. So network deployment, because when we deploy the sensor, suppose we have deployed it with the help of aeroplane or some other means, the sensors will be spread in a very random fashion. So forming a network from those sensors is a very big challenge. So you can work upon those areas, and that will be beneficial for the industry in future. And when you deploy this, the formation of topology, and this is also a real challenge for the scientists and researchers, because once the topology has been finalized, we need to change it, because as I said earlier to you, if suppose there is one particular node, all the traffic is being passed through this node, then the battery of this node will be consumed very quickly and this node will be dead. We don't want this to be happen. We can do our research in the area of transmission media also. Okay, which type of transmission media will be best suitable for the wireless sensor network? We can propose a different media which can be applicable here. These sensors requires very tiny operating system because these are very small in size. They have limited memory, they have limited battery. So normal operating system cannot work with these sensors. So we need a special operating system. So we can propose a new operating system, or we can do some changes in the existing one so that the resource consumption will be reduced. Fault tolerance can also be improved in wireless sensor network because I said to you, suppose there are multiple nodes, but if one of the nodes goes down, then your whole network may become the partitioned. So there should be a mechanism of fault tolerance. By non-working of one of the node, your network should be available to the user. You want to extend your network, then scalability is a big challenge because there is some of the existing network sensors are already been deployed, their battery level is different, their manufacturer is different. Now you are going to deploy the new one nearby to this, and you want to have a coordination among these two networks. And this is another challenge. Likewise, power consumption, because these sensor networks, sensor nodes are also not having any active power supply. So power consumption is another challenge because you need to propose some algorithms so that the load balancing amongst the routes can be formed, and all the traffic should not follow one particular path. The traffic should be balanced in such a way that the all the nodes are utilized effectively and in a balanced way. Synchronization amongst the nodes is also major challenge, how we can synchronize all the nodes, because if every time we are going to synchronize our nodes, what will happen, lots of energy or lots of time will be wasted in synchronization. So we want our network to be always synchronized and all the nodes are always synchronized. Synchronization is another challenge. Here also we are having the same simulators. Those are used for ad hoc networks. For wireless sensor networks are also applicable. This is also another area, cloud computing, which is in which the research is nowadays quietly going on, and even the industry is also working on this cloud, because most of our work are nowadays cloud. Even in mobile phones, even in our Google servers, they all working on the cloud. Even most of the softwares now are available using the cloud. So scheduling, how we can schedule our resources, this is also a challenge, or you can say a problem in which we can work upon. In this we have two types of scheduling: independent and dependent scheduling. Independent scheduling is also known as the workflow scheduling, in which you can uh, allocate your resources in such a way that the resource consumption, that because this is a pay per model, basically we are going to pay how much the resources we are going to use. We want to reduce the cost. That will only be possible if you are scheduling the resources in an effective manner. Load balancing is also a similar kind of concept in which the resources are uniformly allocated to the users. Security is also a big challenge, because if you will just allocate the resources to the user without any proper security mechanism, then it may be possible that user will be utilizing your resources beyond limit, and he is paying less and utilizing the resources more. So security is a big challenge, and moreover, if suppose the information corresponding to one user is shared with the others, or other user is going to hack the information, then your whole cloud will be useless and no other person will be going to use your cloud in future. Likewise, mobile cloud is nowadays very popular, as I've given you all the facilities, those being provided by these mobile cloud service providers are very beneficial. Even there are some of the companies, those who are providing only the mobile cloud facilities. I can give you one example of Myntra. Earlier we used to have their websites on that is working on laptop as well as on mobile, but nowadays they are having only for the mobile. Their website, or you can say their tool, is not available for the websites. Other applications are also there, those who are providing the mobile cloud services, like even say banking websites, you can say Flipkart. Most of the even this companies, they are having the mobile cloud facilities. This is very popular, and we can improve their quality by doing the further research, whether in terms of time, whether in terms of resource allocation, whether in terms of balancing, load balancing, or security. And we also want ubiquitous connectivity in this. We don't want our connectivity to be broken. We always want to be connected with the help of internet, even with the slow network connection. Suppose my network connection is very slow, some of the apps don't work. Like I can give you an example. Suppose your network connection speed is very slow, your WhatsApp will work, but other application may not work. So this is the quality of WhatsApp, that even with the slow network connection speed, it is working, but some of the softwares or applications may not work. So for this also you can go with the help of real test bed or with the help of simulators. Here we have Cloud Sim, Workflow Sim for workflow scheduling basically, Cloud Sim for other cloud analyst. These simulators are well-known simulators. Another areas, likewise, there are multiple areas in the fields of computer science, like we have artificial intelligence. In this, you can propose the new algorithms in the area of like machine learning, yeah, planning and constraint satisfaction, or online and exact algorithms, how they can be proposed, and how your neural network can be trained, and ant colony optimization can also be used. This ant colony optimization can be used in diverse fields. This is not limited to the artificial intelligence. Even in the different branches also, even in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, people are using this ant colony optimization for optimizing the given problem. So there are also some simulators available for this, like we have neural network simulator, SimBrain, Stuttgart network, neural network simulators. So these simulators can be used because simulators are always beneficial for first time implementing the proposed solution, because it can reduce the cost of implementation. When your proposed solution is implemented and suppose successful with the help of simulator, then we can go ahead for the real test bed or real prototype examination. Another research area is in the case of distributed system, you can work upon how the systems, those are physically apart from each other, can be coordinated jointly to form a cluster and solve a big problem. That is why earlier we used to have a client server architecture, but nowadays client server architecture has been totally removed, or not nowhere it is existing. This is because of the decline in the hardware cost. Now we want to form a cluster of the nodes, and they can solve a big problem jointly. And with the help of these distributed system and cloud, we can access our Gmail and Google servers. They are 24/7 available to us because they have formed a cluster computing. We also want the concurrency control, because normal protocols, those are applicable for our database handling. Because suppose I am having one Gmail account, uh, I want to access my data from it. My data is replicated at multiple places. Through that only they are providing the backup to our data. So we want to have the concurrency control amongst those servers, because those servers, they are placed physically apart from each other. We want to have the concurrency control, how they can be jointly work, because there are read-write protocols, two-phase logging protocols, three-phase. I hope you have studied, but those protocols are not valid for distributed system. We need to work upon these areas. Likewise, we need the parallel programming models. Those can be applicable for distributed systems. Object-oriented systems and component customization, cost estimation. This is also very big challenge in case of distributed system. How much cost will be required? We want to reduce the cost, and also we want to estimate it beforehand, because if you estimate your cost wrong, then your proposed solution will not be applicable in future. So cost estimation at a beforehand time is very big challenge in case of distributed system. For this also we have multiple simulators like GridSim, SimGrid, GridLab. So if you are going to work on any of this area, you just pick one of the simulator and start working on this, because learning, or you can say trying to implement your solution in a given simulator, is also a big challenge. You can also work upon the area of image processing, how the images can be compressed and further without any degradation in the image. Again, you want to basically recover the image, because whenever you are going to transmit certain images, compressed images can be sent quickly. Like you can say, if we are going to transmit my images with the help of my mobile phone or simple way, it will be taking too much time. But whenever I am going to upload my image with the help of either Facebook or with the help of WhatsApp, they are quickly transmitted because they are compressing our image without degrading its quality. Likewise, image enhancement, static and dynamic, digital watermarking. Watermarking can also be placed without any security hack. Encryption and decryption, how we can encrypt our information in certain image, or again we can decrypt the same image at the receiver side. Error resilient techniques for image transmission. Simulators we can have here for MATLAB and Scilab. You can also work upon the data mining because nowadays a lot of data is generated by the users. Good examples are Facebook, because data is coming on to a very high speed nowadays with the help of Facebook and other social networking websites. So how we can retrieve the appropriate information from this? Like suppose I am having the Gmail account, I want to access a particular information. Sometimes I am able to access it very easily, sometimes it is very difficult. So this is basically the quality of your search engine, how effectively it is processing the queries. The search engine provided by the Google is very good. Search engine is also provided by other websites, like Yahoo is also providing search engine that is not popular, because the search, or you can say data mining, provided by Google is very effective. They are providing the correct result with respect to the user's location and user's requirement. So multiple areas are written on this slide, like data mining, process related problems, security, privacy. You can pick any of this and just start working upon it. Moving to the big data, as I said to you, a lot of data is generating nowadays, and this data is having multiple V property, like different variety, velocity. I hope you have heard about these words. So you can pick any of the applicability, like suppose data is being generated and the data is of different types. Suppose some person is uploading the uh, .mp3 file, someone is uploading .mpeg, someone is uploading .mpe4, some uploading .dat, some uploading .txt. Different types of files are available. We want to encrypt it, we want to compress it in a certain way that the data loss, or you can say data degradation, is not there, and at a later stage we can access it quickly. It is only possible when we have a good searching, or you can say data mining mechanism. So earlier the algorithms, those were proposed for the normal databases or data searching, those are not applicable for this big data. So here we need the different programming model, like nowadays R programming model is very popular. You can work upon, or you can say data acquisition and recording, information extraction and cleaning. Some of the areas are written here. You can do your research and how you can proceed towards this. You can also work in the area of semantic web, how the information is retrieved. Like suppose if I type in Google, suppose some keyword, it will give you the search according to the keyword. But there are priorities with respect to the search. This website will come first, this website will come second. This is all done with the help of semantic web and information retrieval from the internet. So you can increase the your search capability or search probability with the help of your keywords, or you can say your prioritization. Multilinguality is also a big challenge nowadays, because most of the institutes, or you can say government offices, are providing their websites in multilingual. So whenever there are more features, more challenges will be there. The websites nowadays are built for the even person with disability also. So for that, how much your algorithm will be effective, how the searching mechanism will be done in different languages and for different persons with disabilities, all this you can work upon in these semantic web. So thank you. This is the end of presentation. Now we can have few times for the question and answer.